to be or not to be update. So apparently everybody's in suspense about what happened to the bees in the tree. They're in those 4 boxes right there on the left. The ones on the right are the original box I still have left. I only have 1 out of the 3 hives I had last year. But I've got a lot of bees in that box. I'm guessing there's 60 to 80,000 bees or more. Homed in pretty well. But inside those boxes is a mess because I took the comb out of the tree, put it in the box the best I could. It's not going to be super efficient or super usable for us for honey. It'll be fine for them, but what they'll do is they'll build it all together, and then I won't be able to manage it very well. So the next phase in the bee part, the wild bee part, is over. If you look on the ground over there, in the ground and in that bucket are comb that I couldn't fit in those boxes. I've been letting them have at it, and they've been swarming it for 3 or 4 days. And they're taking everything they want out of those and putting them in their boxes. The super on the top, the purple one, the little one on the top, was put in there with old honeycomb, and I noticed yesterday that they were already building that out, which is good.
Why do you call it a super?
That's just the name of it's what you put above everything else. So I guess they call it a super because it's higher than everything else. Two boxes on the bottom are deep boxes, and the reason I use those, even though I'm trying to get away from them, the reason I use those is because that's the only I could get the most comb out of the tree in those 2 boxes. So those 2 boxes have old wire frame frames in them that I was able to push the comb onto. They had brood in there and they had honey. I tried to save as much as I could and put it down there. They're cleaning that up. What they're doing with it, I don't know yet. I'm going to have to get in there soon and find out. The idea is to wean them away from that sooner or later. Find the queen. Hopefully she's in there. So that's a larva that just hatched. You can see it's a bee, but it just hatched. See, there's another one down there. They're cleaning out the hive. They're taking taking the trash out basically, which is what they should be doing. They're still sleeping. They're not quite up yet.
I don't know. They look kind of busy coming in and out.
So they're putting, look, their butts are all in the air. I wonder why. All right, I got bees on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're on every frame, which is awesome. So there are bees cleaning this all up. That's good. Everybody get off. Come on. Come on. I don't want to squish you. So we're going to leave those for a while and come back later or tomorrow or the next day or something. I like to come during the middle of the day because all the foragers are out and hunting, and they're so busy, gathering. They're so busy doing that, they don't really mind me in their hive. Right now, they're in there. They're still waking up. If you go in there now and you mess with them, they may get a little angry. The idea here is to split these 2 hives. And what that means is both hives have a lot of bees. We put a screen in between them, and then the bees that are on the top of the screen can't get to the queen at the bottom, so they think they don't have a queen, so they're queenless. So what they do is they take a larva, a 2-day-old, 3-day-old larva that the queen has laid on the top box, and they start feeding it royal jelly, what it's called, and create queen cells. And they'll create 2 or 3 or 4 queen cells and feed those 3 or 4 queen cells. And then the first one that hatches that they like, they'll destroy the other ones. And that queen will go out and mate with a drone somewhere better out than 2 miles, and then come back and she'll start laying for the next 2 years. That way, then I take those 2 boxes, then I have 4.
And why you're building bee boxes?
Oh, we went and built new boxes that are going to get painted today to add to our apiary. We have an apiary. This is the Piddling Homestead apiary. I need a sign right here. bees are coming, and I really need more beehives. I bought honey last year. I don't want to buy any honey. 22. All we need is one. If we get one, we use it as a pattern. All right, got to put this back on. Make sure we got a square in. If I'm making 4 boxes, I need 8 of these. Here's my 8. Okay, here's the top. Now, some people don't make tops like this. The metal protects the wood. Some people just paint them. I think I've got a bunch of metal, so I could probably make these. They certainly last a lot longer. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and cut the wood anyway. These are 21 and a half. These are 22. These are 14 and 7/8. And these are 21 and a half. No, 21 and 3/4. So let's cut some 21 and 3/4. These are the pieces that get routed right here. So these need to go through the planer. So let's plane all of these down to 3/4. Next, we're right about there right now. A little bit, go. All right. So they're all, you can see where I left the wood out and the little bitty worms got in it. It's still good pine. Good straight grain southern pine. Nice wood. Except for this one piece of poplar. You can see the difference color in the poplar. Pretty wood. Poplar's pretty wood, but it's nowhere near as, it's about the same as pine, but I like pine better. That color coming through. These are bottom boards. I think we just glue those bad boys on and that glue's cold. Cold as I am. Let's see what else we got for glue. Okay. And we got little side on top. Is that one? One. All right, well, UPS is here with some tires. I got to replace tires on the truck. So we're going to call this a day for now. I'm going to put the plywood on the tops. These are the tops. I need to put plywood on the top. Like so. Well, if the nail goes in. we go. That's the top of the bee box. You're wide enough. Just barely. Wonder if it'd be better to cut with this. My little tool I use. That might do. I got these bee boxes done. Now they just need to be painted.
Here's a little garden update. My strawberries, aren't they beautiful? I'm really happy the way they've spread out. I planted them last spring. We did get a few strawberries, but you can see over the winter and now that spring's coming back, they've been in the ground a full year. They're really starting to fill out, so I'm really excited. I'm hoping we get lots and lots of yummy strawberries this year. And then in this raised bed, I planted Denver carrots. Planted them about 4 days ago or so, and it's supposed to rain today and tomorrow, so hopefully a nice light rain will make everything pop right up. And my peas are starting to come up. And these were some older seeds, so I'm going to give them a few more days. Wait till after the rain. I'll come through and thin them out if they're too thick, and where they haven't come up, I'll go ahead and plant some newer seeds. And then I planted some kale, again, about 4 days ago. I planted them when I planted the carrots, and I've planted some spinach. So just waiting for that to pop up. And my purple asparagus is coming up. I am mixing up a bunch of paints. I'm going to mix up pastel colors to paint the outside of these bee boxes with. I was instructed not to paint the inside of the boxes. I think the bees like to do their own decorating, so they'll bring in some resin from the trees and coat the sides with that. Make them yellow. I love yellow. Yellow is such a happy color. The bees must like yellow too, since they get all that pollen. These are the bottoms. I'm just going to paint the bottoms all white since I have a ton of white paint. Really excited to have more bees. Sad to run out of honey last year. It's one of our goals, things we'd like to accomplish this year is growing all of our own food. We are definitely not totally off grid. We still rely on the power company and some of our water. Definitely the biggest obstacle for us is going to be electricity. So when we were in the other house in Georgia, we did put solar panels on the roof, and we had 4 batteries, a pretty huge battery bank we thought, but it was nowhere near enough. So we've got to figure out solar power, the battery bank that we need. A plus about being up here is we always have wind. There's a ton of wind that just blows right down the mountain, and there's nothing to block it. So we'll be able to set up some wind generators as well for power. But that's kind of down the line for us. This year we're focusing on growing all of our own food, including our honey from our bees. We've got chickens we get eggs from. We have dairy cows, dairy goats now. Miami's raising a steer because he is a carnivore. I'm happy just with all the vegetables out of the garden. So I was thinking he had a bunch of bottoms, but he's got 4 bottoms and 4 tops. He's got the metal on the top of here. So I'm just going to throw a little paint in here around the edges for these. And these will be done. Good. And then hopefully my boxes will be dry. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and put second coat on them. Quick break from painting the boxes to come out and help Miami. He's trying to troubleshoot the tractor.
you're going to crank it. And I'm just going to see if it's getting fuel here to the injectors.
So I just push the clutch in?
Yep. Fuel there. All right, hold on. Why is it getting fuel?
Is there fuel in the truck?
So, what's my pump on, bud? I figured out what the tractor was. Is basically the fuel pump. You know, I replaced that fuel pump 2 years ago, so I don't know what the deal is. They just go bad or whatever. I think that's what it is, because I was able to bypass it and make it work. So I ordered a fuel pump. Now that we have Amazon delivery out here in the boonies, we get it in 2 days, which is nice.
All right, the bee boxes are finished, ready to go. Hope the bees like them. We still need to finish a couple of the tops and the bottoms, but we don't need those right now. We really just need the boxes. Miami's got to get a couple more frames so he can get the frames put in the boxes and get them ready to go.
All right, we changed the milking system a little bit, and we're by putting up this gate that I brought from Rock Mart with a chain behind her leg, so she can't back out now. So we still give her lots of food. Shelly's just hand milking today, just for today. We'll bring the machine back tomorrow just to see how she does, but she doesn't care. She really, as long as she's got food, she could care less.
Smell like garlic.
How's your milking going?
It's going really well today. I've actually just moved to one of the back teats, which I haven't done before, and that one seems to be working well. We've got it all going and flowing. Now that we figured all this out, butters a little massage, you can see the milk coming in. Plus I think I feel a little more comfortable working with her now, because I'm almost having to get under her to get her all hooked up. So, but she's got all that yummy grain in there,
That's
and
right.
her Redmond garlic salt now that's supposed to be helping with the flies. So I've been giving her that for a couple of days now.
And then baby's over there hollering for her. And the goats are ready to be fed. So, yep, but we do her first. Hey, we appreciate you guys watching. Hope you learned something. Ask a question, we read your comments, and we'll try to answer it. Subscribe and like.